So, growing up in a mega church and all that, like, when did you eventually, like, come to the realization that, like, hey, shouldn't just be blindly following this church? It sounds like, made some choices for yourself.
Oh, yeah. So that's a really good transition because I was born and raised actually in the megachurch. My mom was like the lead soprano in the church. So I spent like every day there for years. And when I finally got into a high school, my parents decided it's time she went to a public school. And the instant that I got into public school was the instant that I realized the world was entirely different from what everyone else said that it was. And I started studying different religions and different beliefs as early as my freshman year. And that was sort of when everything started to change for me.
If you don't mind me asking, where do you lean in the religious spectrum these days?
I guess I would probably say that I'm closer to a Taoist than anything else.
What attracted you to Taoism?
Taoism was attractive to me in the essence of. I read this book known as the Tao of Pooh, which explains Taoism in the simplicity of Pooh Bear, which I thought was absolutely amusing, and somehow it explained it so perfectly and wonderfully that I realized that I needed to find my flow in life, and I needed to understand that there were certain paths that I was taking that weren't going in the direction of who I really was as a person. And that sort of really defined how I found the rest of myself in that journey.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think you were probably the first Taoist I've ever interviewed, or someone who's leaning towards Taoist. Personally, I'm an atheist, so I'm always
absolutely
curious where people end up on stuff, because it's amazing how many people don't really seem to grasp that, like, where you were born geographically has a major influence on what religion you end up with.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like, oh no, everyone's Christian. No, a lot of people are not Christian. A whole lot of people are not Christian.
Yeah, everyone just thinks that Christianity is the primary religion because it's sort of what we're very used to. I remember, when I was in grade school, it was all about, attendance to the flag. And then there was also the Christian flag at the end of that, in which we would do attendance for the Bible. And that was something that I realized other schools didn't have.
So, yeah, I've never heard of that in my life. What is that?
The Christian flag is a whole thing about your dedication to Jesus. It's wild. I'm gonna look it up right now. Christian flag pledge. It's crazy.
Can you recite it for us?
I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands, one brotherhood uniting all Christians in service and in love. It's
it's short.
Yeah, it's short, but it's when I went to other schools, I realized that was just something that no one else did. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the product of public schools. I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so wild.
Oh, yeah. Private schools taught me so many things that I thought were just normal. Actually, one of the things that got me really curious about sex was actually something that they had there. And they had something that they called an abstinence concert. When we were of a certain age, they felt the need to talk about abstinence to us. And we all got these pewter rings. And I remember they brought out this gigantic wooden heart onto the stage. And they were like, this is love in all of its purity. And then all of a sudden, all the lights got dark. And all of a sudden, all the bodies hit the floor, started playing in the background, let the bodies hit the floor.
Like drowning pool?
Yeah. And then it just got louder and louder. And it was the bodies hit the floor. And a guy with a chainsaw comes in and saws the heart in half. And they're like, this is what sex does to you. This is what it does to your relationship. And then afterwards, a guy with a flamethrower comes in and sets the heart on fire. And they said that that's what STDs were.
So was this presented by Rammstein? Like, what is going on here? That sounds like if the subject matter was a little different, it sounds like it could have been a really good time.
I know. You know what? We all had a really great time, but it was just really weird because I would tell that story to other kids and I was like, what, you've never had that before? You know, it's your local abstinence concert.
Like, yeah, no one's trusting us with pyrotechnics.
I know, it's wild. Oh my goodness. The crazy things that they do to kids. And you know, when I thought about it before, I was like, why are they so focused on it? It's actually one of the things that got me really curious in my sexuality.
It's like, why are they saying no to this so hard?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Dare failed with drugs.
Yeah.